Happy Flossmas, everyone! Happy Flossmas day number 3. Here we are. Thank you so much for coming back and spending a little time with Winston and I. We are here to share some Christmas projects and just get into the festive holiday spirit. So I hope you enjoy what you see today as we go through this. So as you know, we always start off with our coffee here in the morning because we are filming this first thing in the morning. And there's nothing like coffee in the morning. Now, to go with that, we have our Trader Joe's chocolate advent calendar. Here is what this looks like. It's really pretty. I like the covers, but I really like the chocolate inside. So we are going to find day 3, and that's right here at this one. So I'm going to open that up, and we'll see what chocolate we get today. I'm curious. Oh, cute. Okay. So today we've got this little wreath. Hopefully you can see this. Let me cover my face. There we go. Cute little wreath with like a candle in the center. I love how much detail they can get in these chocolates. That's so cool. But yeah, if you are partaking in a piece of chocolate or some sort of goodie with me, now is the time. Yes, Winston, yours is coming. So let's go ahead and jump into Winston's advent calendar for dogs. I think we all know what will be in his, but we're going to open this third square right here. And just make sure that that's the same thing that will be in his treat. Sure enough, look at that. We've got another baggie of dog treats. So, okay, finally got it open and now it's time. So Winston, sit. High five. Good job. Can you shake a paw? Oh, good job. Good boy. You really want this treat, huh? Can you beg? Can you beg? Good boy. Okay. So that is Winston's little treat too. I've got a second one here for him because he's an extra good boy today. So yeah, that's the advent calendars. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and add a song to the Spotify playlist. And the song this morning is called Little Toy Trains, and it is from a band called the Lewis Family. Now, the Lewis Family is a Southern gospel group that I grew up listening to because my parents would listen to them. Now, in all honesty, I never really cared for the singing in that group. I always found the voices to be a little bit shrill, to say the least. However, on their Christmas album, they had, I think it was like the son of the family sing this Little Toy Trains song, and his voice I loved. So that became kind of my favorite version of Little Toy Trains. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the Spotify playlist for you to see, for you to listen to today. All right, now let's get into the cross-stitching projects. So the first one I'm working on is the 2024 Advent Calendar banner from Tiny Modernist. And I don't have a cover picture to show since it is a mystery sal for me and was a mystery sal last year. But I think it is available if you reach out to Tiny Modernist. And so as you know, yesterday I had the banner completed and I added one more motif. So today we've got this cute little Christmas tree that we've added. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit so you can see. But look at the cute little Christmas tree with all of those little decorations on the ends of the branches there. I just think what Tiny Modernist does with color is so cool because you're really not using that many colors, and she has a way of just making it so colorful and bright and using a few amount of colors, which is really cool. So yeah, we've got our first motif here. This is the Merry Christmas, and of course we need a Christmas tree with that cute little star on top. And again, I'm not sure how well the opalescent is coming through on the camera, but it's really cool in person because it really kind of makes the tree look like it's sparkling in the right light, which is super fun. So yeah, that is the first motif. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see the next motif added. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll go from there. The next daily project that I'm working on is Jane's Joy, and this is a piece from Carolyn Manning. And this is based on a quilt that so many of you have told me about now, which I had no idea, but it's based on a quilt from, I think it's like 1863. The quilt is actually on display in a museum in Vermont, I believe. And it's a quilt that had so many intricate blocks in it. And from there, people have sort of adapted that quilt to make their own versions of Jane's quilt. And now we have a cross-stitch version of it. So that's why this kind of looks like a a quilt type of pattern here. But that's what I'm working on. And yesterday I was able to get another one of the border trees completed. So you can see there that I think the first 2 days I added these 2 motifs, and now I've got this second tree here in the border. It's super cute. I love that bow on the tree and the little like holly berries and leaves. I think it's super cute. And yeah, I will probably keep going with the border. I think there's a different tree that goes beside it here. So I will probably continue with that the next day or two, and before we jump into any of the squares. But I will get to the squares throughout this 25 days, I promise. Just sort of eating some of my vegetables first, because these trees, I think there's like 3 or 4 different trees, maybe 3 different trees that go along the border. So they might get a little tedious as we go along. But if I do it little by little, it'll be okay. So that is Jane's Joy from Carolyn Manning. And the final piece I worked on yesterday was I kept working on Blitzen. So this is from Nora Corbett. This is the Christmas Eve Couriers series, and this is the one I'm working on this year. And I want you to pay close attention to this cover image here and look at the trees at the bottom and look how dark those trees are. You know, there's a lot of like darker greens in there. Well, most of what is called for in the tree is the Karen water lilies, 204, which for mine, just so you can see it here, is Umbria. And this is the colorway that I got for that. So as you can see, it is much lighter, and there's even lots of like little red parts in here. It's not near as dark as what is in the cover photo. So my trees look a lot different, but here is where I got to today, or yesterday. So you can see here, I worked all on this bottom section. None of this was done as of yesterday. I put all of that in there. Now, when you look at it, I'm not sure I actually like it, to be honest. It doesn't really look like trees, and it definitely does not look like the cover photo. Now, I'm not going to frog all of that because that was a lot of stitching, so it's going to stay in there. I'm hoping there's still some spots in here where there are holes, and that's where the beads will go. So I'm hoping that once I put some green beads in there, it will make it look a little bit more foresty. And maybe even once I get some of these like swirlies in here, I think there's some beads for snowflakes that go in there. Maybe once I get all of that, it will be okay and look a little bit better. It could also be that I'm just being a little too harsh on myself. And I know that the cover photo here is just darker overall. Like you can see the difference between how light even the deer is. The deer looks much darker in the picture. But yeah, I was a little disappointed with the trees as I was stitching yesterday. So that was kind of a little bit of a bummer, but you know, it is what it is. I'm using the called for floss, and I guess sometimes maybe it changes. Maybe the floss used to be a darker color, and that's okay. But yeah, anyway, today, if I pull this out again, I probably will finish this tree section just so I can get that all completed and get that ready for beads. And then if I do finish that and manage to have a little extra time, I'll continue working on the deer's body up here. So that's my saga with Blitzen today. And the last thing I'm going to share with you today is a little bit more of The Fir Tree by Hans Christian Andersen, the story that I've been reading on these Flossmas videos. I've been so happy to hear how much you have enjoyed the story so far and enjoyed me reading it. That was sort of a last minute idea to add into Flossmas, and I'm really glad I did. I'm glad I took the chance. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So I will share a little bit more of that with you now. Christmas time drew near, and many young trees were cut down, some even smaller and younger than the fir tree, who enjoyed neither rest nor peace with longing to leave its forest home. These young trees, which were chosen for their beauty, kept their branches, and were also laid on wagons and drawn by horses out of the forest. "Where are they going?" asked the fir tree. "They are not taller than I am. Indeed, one is much less. And why are the branches not cut off? Where are they going?" We know, sang the sparrows. "We have looked in at the windows of the houses in the town, and we know what is done with them. They are dressed up in the most splendid manner. We have seen them standing in the middle of a warm room and adorned with all sorts of beautiful things, honey cakes, gilded apples, playthings, and many hundreds of wax tapers." And then, asked the fir tree, trembling through all its branches, and then what happens? We did not see any more, said the sparrows, but this was enough for us. I wonder whether anything so brilliant will ever happen to me, thought the fir tree. It would be much better than crossing the sea. I long for it almost with pain. Oh, when will Christmas be here? I am now as tall and well grown as those which were taken away last year. Oh, that I were now laid on the wagon or standing in the warm room with all that brightness and splendor around me. Something better and more beautiful is to come after, or the trees would not be so decked out. Yes, what follows will be grander and more splendid. What can it be? I am weary with longing. I scarcely know how I feel. Rejoice with us, said the air and the sunlight. Enjoy thine own bright life in the fresh air. But the tree would not rejoice, though it grew taller every day, and winter and summer, its dark green foliage might be seen in the forest, while passers-by would say, "What a beautiful tree!" A short time before Christmas, the discontented fir tree was the first to fall. As the axe cut through the stem and divided the pith, the tree fell with a groan to the earth, conscious of pain and faintness, and forgetting all its anticipations of happiness, in sorrow at leaving its home in the forest. It knew that it should never again see its dear old companions, the trees, nor the little bushes and many-colored flowers that had grown by its side, perhaps not even the birds. Neither was the journey at all pleasant. So that is the next update. We'll stop there for now, but that's the next update in the story of the fir tree, so we'll continue that tomorrow again. I hope you're all enjoying this festive season so far. I know we're still very early into December and just getting going with all of this, but it's really been fun for me to have these videos with you and this time with you, to get a little festive joy in our lives, and that's been really good. Today is a beautiful sunny day in New York. It's cold, but sunny, and had a really lovely run this morning, so I'm happy to be sharing this new day with you. But I think that's all I've got for you today, so I will leave it at that, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.